Internets, hello you lovelies. Let's talk all about Daredevil Born Again, episode 666. The devil is back. Matt let the devil in. Very excited to talk about this episode. We got MUSE ramping up. We've got the parallel between Wilson and Matt coming to an absolute fever pitch. We have the crescendo of their arcs, of them letting their violent natures in. We've got a lot of stuff going on with the building up of potentially a new White Tiger. Lots of stuff in this episode. Very excited to talk about it. But if you're new to this page, please hit that notification bell, hit that subscription bell, hit the bell in general. I cover comic books in this page quite extensively. I read every major new comic, almost every major new comic that's out every week. Translates to about 40 to 50 new comic books and about 10 to 20 old ones every week, 50 to 70 comics. And I break down my top 9 favorites for you in a show that also tells you the comic book and TV news, calls This Week in Comics, and I do it every single week. I also do every major movie release and TV release, and I come all from the lens of loving genre content. So if you love comics, you love movies, you love TV, hit that notification bell. Also hit the like while you're pressing buttons, and most of all, leave a comment. Let's talk all about episode 6. I love that nerds are thriving and we can talk comic stuff, especially something as comic-y as this episode. Let's dive in. Episode 6, full spoilers through the episode. The devil is back in Hell's Kitchen. We had the heat turned up in Hell's Kitchen. We had that great little bank robbery, heat-toned episode, and now the devil is fully back. And I love that it is built to this point as a slow burn between Wilson Fisk becoming Kingpin and repressing it, and Matt becoming Daredevil and repressing it. In the beginning of this episode, we've got the great conversation between Wilson having this thug come into his office, this tracksuit mafia guy, and not respecting his power, and him being pushed back into the Kingpin's way. And even conversations with Vanessa, feeling pushed to go back that way while wearing a white shirt, I might add. And then with Matt talking to Heather, who I'm starting to suspect nefarious things from. I think she might, I don't know if she'd be full Typhoid Mary, but definitely feel like she might know more of Wilson Fisk's nature than be on Matt's side. But I digress. That's another episode. We'll see if that turns out to be true. But during the conversation with Heather, that felt like through everything he was being pushed slowly to become Daredevil again. Like the praying felt like, that voice in his head literally coming back in with the Daredevil element. I felt like, Foggy is the thing that was keeping him away. He never wanted to let that back in, but even praying and thinking about it, it felt like slowly there. And then the shot of him putting the horn on that prayer card and just accepting, like, F it, and diving in because of MUSE and because he's seen things not happen with the cops, all tying into White Tiger. And I love that. I expected White Tiger to be mirroring Daredevil's mantle, which he did. He acknowledged the vigilantes and the things that inspired him. But now Matt is almost inspired by White Tiger because he was the one exploring and taking matters into his own hands. And his niece, who I think will take on the mantle of White Tiger, I'm wondering even if her blood loss leads her to need the amulet and then come back as White Tiger. That'd be interesting. But seeing all of those elements being this Ouroboros of vigilante mutual respect, all leading to the task force that is taking down vigilantes. So Wilson accepting who he is. I love the suit not fitting because he's not been able to control his impulses. He's not been able to stop punching at him. And so he's controlling. He's got the mask of Wilson Fisk, just as Matt has the mask of Matt Murdock. But Wilson Fisk has not been able to stay as determined. He's been slipping on his diet. He's been slipping on his violence. He's been slipping into the basement more and more. This episode, he breaks free just as Matt breaks through and becomes Daredevil again, all tying to MUSE, and MUSE being the one that brings them together in his own messed up way. The moment I've been waiting for as a comic fan, knowing MUSE, the character, the Charles Soule, Ron Garney run, highly recommend. Starts with volume 1 of their run with Mayor Fisk, but it evolves to volume 3 with MUSE. All of it's fantastic. I definitely recommend it. But the blood as the art piece, the chosen medium of art was something I was waiting for, and that being the thing that pushes Fisk over the edge, that broken laugh, him becoming the Kingpin again, but that actually being him letting go of just destroying Adam, but not killing him, but those fight moves like just out of the comic books. It looks like a John Romita Sr. drawing, like his haymakers, his big two thumps, his brawling like a giant baby, mirroring Matt. And the jump cuts between Matt's acrobatics and brutality, but when the wall hits would transfer over to the different style of wall hit with Kingpin. All of that was beautiful. The crescendo of these two men letting out their inner devils that we've been building here this whole time in episode 666. And now we're entering the third act of the show. Now we've got Daredevil fully back. We've got Kingpin pretty much fully back, but we've got a common enemy in MUSE who gets away. And MUSE, who's a way more of a hand-to-hand fighter than I was expecting, is out there. Bullseye is out there. Punisher is out there. How is Punisher going to react to this task force, taking out vigilantes, having his branding on it? How are we going to do with the new The Cole, by the way, the cop they introduce as like the number 2 on this task force to the dirty cop we've already met. Cole is a very big character in a lot of the recent runs of Daredevil, but he's usually a cop that is willing to do anything and other cops don't trust him. It's interesting to see him kind of on Kingpin's side here. Eventually Cole and Daredevil see eye to eye, but it takes a while, and it's a very interesting arc. So I'm very curious to see how Cole, I assume he's going to be very different than the comic books, but he's a very interesting character in the comic books. But I do want to give credit to all that crescendo. It was great to see Matt, swing at the Billy Club again, going to fight MUSE. The actual MUSE fight was incredible. And it's like we talked about in the last episode's review, the style of fighting, and full credit to Greg for noticing, but like the handheld, the control of that shot versus the quick handheld style of when Matt was fighting was beautiful to behold. Love that element of Matt being himself when he's Daredevil. Love the rage, love the power of it. I did, however, definitely miss a suit-up montage of some kind. I definitely wanted a more of an impact after waiting, 5 episodes to get him back. I wanted that oomph. That is something I definitely missed, but I do think we could have used some of the BB reporting, which we definitely didn't have in the last episode, further making me think that was from the old regime. The BB Urich stuff has really made New York a character and has really tied us to the city. That wasn't in that episode in the courthouse. Seeing it back here, seeing the voice of the city, I would have loved if we heard like more kids going missing, something about something building up to MUSE. I would have loved if we'd seen some missing person signs, something to just feel like there was a bigger loss of the city. The reveal of 60 is obviously huge, but that doesn't really give us enough context to have MUSE feel like a threat up until this point. Now that he's here, I'm really excited, but I wish the character had gotten more of a slow burn and then a big reveal of the scope of what he'd done versus just like, it being told in one episode. That said, it did effectively bring Kingpin back out of hiding. Mayor Fisk has been out, but Kingpin hasn't. It did make Daredevil say F it and dive back in when he didn't believe the cops would get there in time, and they wouldn't have. I love the portrayal of, White Tiger by that young actress. She is absolutely incredible. I'm excited to see her take on the mantle, which I'm assuming will happen in the show. I'd be curious to see if she becomes a young Avenger. I'm very curious how Cole is portrayed and whether or not there's going to be Punisher versus those cops, how Punisher comes back to defend his symbol and what that represents. I talked a lot about how that symbolism means a lot to me and what that symbol is and how it's not, cop appropriate in another video, so you can check that out. But overall, I do think this is a nice blend of Netflix and Disney Plus. This episode was the first episode. I felt like it was a blend, though. I definitely felt like Netflix would have taken its time with MUSE and made him more of a horror villain, like a Fincher Mindhunter. Netflix probably would have had a suit-up moment, and those things are feeling a little rushed. But overall, I'm still so grateful to have this show back. I'm still so grateful to have anything that I don't really mind. I'm just glad that we have the weight of those old shows to inform the weight of this new show, since this one is moving at a more of a feverish clip. I'm glad we have all of the association of the Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio in a slow burn, so it does add some weight to these faster episodes. So really enjoyed it. Definitely feels like a blend of the old and new show, like episodes 1 and 2 did. Definitely curious about how the last act goes, this third act, as things ramp up, especially knowing we had that different feel in the courthouse scene. The bank scene. I called it courthouse twice. That bank scene that felt very Chris Nolan and Heat. But yeah, it is a fantastic show. I'm so happy. I see why these two were paired. Very quick episode going into this really heavy episode. What are you thinking? I'd love to know in the comments below. What did you think of episode 6 of Daredevil Born Again? Are you excited for next week as we get into the third act? And I assume more Punisher, MUSE, Bullseye, Kingpin, lots of stuff ramping up. Leave a like in this video, especially if you liked this video, and hit that subscription bell if you're not already subscribed. Very excited for next week. I'll be back right on time with a review of episode 7, 8, and 9 as they release. And in between then, lots of movie reviews. My Locked review should be up. My Novocaine review should be up. Lots of videos this month. So please subscribe, comment, like, etc. Much love, y'all. Daredevil's back. Feels so great.